The top Silksong speedruns are now resulting in times that are under 50 minutes. My personal best times are quite a bit slower, coming in around an hour and a half. Seeing that my times are usually quite a bit slower than the top times, I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to beat Silksong before I graduated. As I go through Moss Grotto, I'll explain how I did this. For the last week we have a weird testing block schedule, making the main testing classes around 2 hours long with some extra classes in between. I wanted to beat Silksong before my last day in one of these testing blocks, so I arrived at school at 7 in the morning and set up my laptop. The run started off well with a sub 30-second Moss Mother fight and a good Beast Fly pogo up the chakra. I did decent in the Bell Beast fight, no quick kill, but I don't know how to do it and I was probably too tired to pull it off if I did. So after I made my way to the Ant Arena guarding Dash, but this is when tragedy first struck. I went in on 3 masks, which is usually plenty, but with some rusty plays and a crazy snipe on the last wave, I ended up dying. But seriously, that ant should join the MLB. What the hell was that? So I ended up taking a large time loss running all the way back from the Marrow. Now is a good time to mention, I couldn't restart a bad run. I had to keep every small mistake. I didn't have a time to beat, I had a time to be done by. And by this point, I was already 20 minutes into class. So, I persisted. I made it through the Ant Arena and got Dash. Had a very intense lace fight, being on one mask near the entire fight. Damage tanking is not worth it, guys. I was very scared. So, I beat Lace within an inch of my life, and made my way to Drifter's Cloak. I got Cloak, then went to do the 4th chorus skip, forgot the 4th chorus skip, then reloaded my game to grab the Silk to do the skip. This was one of several blunders caused by my sleep deprivation, and trust me, it gets so much worse. I continued onward and ascended to Greymore, heading left to go kill Morwing. I took a bench at halfway home for safety, and headed to the small enemy gauntlet to the left. As I ventured onward into Greymore, I began to notice an issue. I haven't mentioned it until now, but I was playing directly in front of a window with the sun directly behind me, and with my laptop brightness low and the glare from the sun, I was really struggling to see in darker locations. This led to me making a few mistakes in my route and dying to Morwing. Luckily though, I opened the shortcut on the way and killed him on the 2nd attempt, getting me out of the dark, for now. Luckily Shellwood is brighter than Greymore, but that didn't stop me from dying to the enemy arena just before the toll bench. I'm usually way better at the game than this, I swear. I went back to the arena and redeemed myself and headed up to the Sister Splinter skip, and accidentally hit another small pogo skip on a flower dude or a fascia or whatever the hell it's called. I got wall climb and rushed over to Widow, and I made it to her with full health and easily killed her first try. Widow is easily one of my favorite fights in the game. She is incredibly fun and easy to get multi-hits on. Absolute peak fight. Now that I have Needle and I can make it to Act 2, time to head up to Blast it. Wait a minute, I forgot to ring the Greymore bell. So recently I've been doing a lot of missed routes, and that muscle memory carried over. Not to mention it was 7 in the morning. God, I was tired. So I went and rang the bell, headed up the blasted steps, and where I yet again realized I forgot something. I noticed I had a lot more rosaries than I remembered, meaning I forgot to buy the Bellheart Bellway. So I decided to go kill Last Judge, planning to go back to Bellheart after killing her. First tried Last Judge, and headed back to Bellheart. Then I realized I was just making things up as I reached the Bellway and saw that I had already purchased it. I'm genuinely still baffled that I somehow forgot this. But I moved on and reached the Citadel. I decided to take a slightly longer but safer route to Cogwork to avoid a potential horrible time loss to a death, as that would mean I would have to run back from blasted steps. So I made it to the gay robots. Happy Pride Month, and luckily didn't die to them 4 times like one of my previous runs. So I continued to vaults and got the pale oil needed for the needle upgrade and went to kill Tropio. All was going well until I got diddled in a series of unfortunate events, realized I forgot to bench when I respawned in Cogwork Core, ran back and killed him on my 2nd attempt. By this point in the run, I was beginning to grow worried. I was playing incredibly poorly compared to normal and didn't have much longer in this testing block. But I didn't let doubt stop me. I got Clawline in the first of the 3 melodies, but unfortunately, class was shorter than I thought. Thought the testing block had classes that were 2 hours, but they were only an hour 45. So, on my way to the 2nd melody, I had to leave my game and begin packing up. So by this point, I had to think of a plan. I was not going to let this stop me. Luckily, I had time to think, as my schedule was strange with the testing blocks, and I had 50 minutes without a class in the middle of the school day. So I headed over to a local park, wandered around, and thought of my plan. I got back to school and was lucky enough that my seat in one of my classes was next to an outlet, so I set up my computer once again and finally got the 2nd melody. This was my lunch period though, so my class was far shorter than it should have been, but I should at least have enough time to— Oh, what's that? My teacher kicked me out of class and told me to go to all the lunch blocks because he didn't want to watch us anymore? Seriously? Once again, I am back to nothing. I began to think this was it. I had another test block this day, but unfortunately I actually had an exam. So I went to lunch and sat with my friends. But then, I noticed it. Power outlet. I quickly ran away from the friends I was sitting with because it was time for video games. I quickly set up my things and made it to the High Hall's gauntlet, but once again I was filled with a sense of dread. This had potential to be a massive time loss, but luckily I was finally awake, and with no sun glare behind me, I first tried the gauntlet and claimed the final melody. So, let me make my way over to the cradle and fight. Please? Oh my god, I forgot to listen to the first melody. However, this blunder was not caused by sleep deprivation, or glare, but it was just muscle memory. You see, I've been working on another video where I run a niche speedrun category I came up with, and in this, I only give the cylinder with the melody to get rosaries, meaning I was incredibly used to just closing the dialogue at that point. So, I went back to finally learn the melody, and then it was time for Lace. Luckily, I was locked in by this point. Finally. And I quickly first tried Lace, which is another one of my favorite fights. She is just so fun. So I climbed the cradle to go beat up Grandma. What am I gonna fight? The moon? Luckily for me, I still had plenty of time left, and Grandma didn't have much time left at all. I got close to death a few times, but none of it was unrecoverable, so I quickly killed Grandmother Silk, and it was over. I had done it. I had beat Silksong before graduation. Or more realistically, I beat Silksong in one really weirdly scheduled school day. So, credits rolled, and I got a final in-game time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 15 seconds, which is leagues better than I thought it would be, judging by the beginning of this run. But now, as of writing this, I've graduated, and I'm on to bigger and better things. But also, I need to finish editing this before my school logs me out of my Adobe account. Bye!